the existing couples today who have met in the last year, y'all, only 3%.
Welcome to Counter.
This woman is fucking nuts. This woman is nuts.
Yeah. We back. Everybody hit the like button. The more you like, the more new people are coming to the live. If you want me to stay on 2 hours, I'm looking to meet a $15 live stream goal. Cash App, PayPal, all at the top of the chat as well as in the description. And or you could do super chat or super sticker. That's the dollar symbol on the right of the chat box. Whatever you can give is greatly appreciated. $5 makes you the live stream sponsor, king or queen of the stream. Yeah. What else? Think that's it. Let's see who tuning in. We got a few people in here. Everybody hit the like button. Let's get started with some ridiculous nonsense.
With more solid, grounded in your word today.
Use my pillar link at the description in my bio to get your copy of the 21 Feminine Principle rules every feminine woman should live by today. All right, I am at my office. I got an early start this morning, and I've been wanting to make this video for a while because I've had a lot of men reach out to me, and they ask me, what are some reasons why good women, and I put it in quotes, why good women leave good men? And online, right, there is this agenda. There is this propaganda where, you know, and there's just a lot of traumatized people, right? I'm coming up on a social media break. I can feel it. Because there are just so many traumatized people in the world, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting to take in their energy. That's why I don't read the comments, you know, and don't respond to all of the comments, because each comment is energy. Each and every comment is energy that I have to expel or take in, right? But there is this thing online, okay, that, you know, because men are going through whatever they're going through, because women went through whatever they went through. And now there are all these narratives about, you know, women leaving good men, them not having any real reason, they're bored, you know, they'll take half and they'll leave for no reason. Come on, y'all. If you are an emotionally mature, rational person, right? This is the narrative that traumatized, wounded, hurt people say, right? This is the narrative that a lot of men who don't want to come to themselves, they don't want to come to the end of themselves, or they don't want to be responsible or accountable, they will say that, you know, that I'm a good man and my wife just left me for no good reason, okay? But here's the truth. Here's the truth that a lot of men are not ready to face. A lot of men are not emotionally mature enough to face. And that is, yes, a woman can be a really good woman. You know, she's not out here running the streets. She's not cheating. She's not lying. She's not betraying you. She's doing all the things that, to me, good women do. And you are technically a good man because you're not out here cheating. You're not out here lying. You're not out here betraying, or, you know, you appear to be hardworking. You appear to be, you know, relatively steady, and you're, you know, doing some stuff around the house, and you appear to be a good man. But we need to go deeper, and that's what online doesn't allow us to do. It leaves everything at the surface. It's a very surface level macro, big picture, and that is the man. That's the masculine. The masculine is very macro, big picture, whereas the feminine is very micro, detail oriented. And that difference in men and women, right? We need to meet there. We need to meet at the crossroads of what makes us different, because
No. That's where I disagree with you. What we need to do is get women to shut the fuck up and follow their man's lead. That's what we need to do to help relationships get back to where they need to be. Not us coming to the table as equals and we figure out how to incorporate her bullshit in our day-to-day lives. Her bullshit about, paying attention to every little detail about every little thing and every little feeling. See, this is where we go wrong in the society. When we prioritize a woman's feelings about some stupid petty shit is irrelevant. I'm not going to say completely irrelevant, but it should be treated in the household as something of little importance. Now, if something big happened and she feel bad about it, okay, but every little grievance, all these little petty grievances, that shit needs to be shut down with an iron fist. Point fucking blank, period. All this coming to the see, when you give a woman an inch, she'll take a mile. If you let her little petty grievances have a little bit of relevancy, then she'll take a mile. So yeah, I disagree. Mommy's feelings matter when it comes to something huge. Little shit, mom, shut the fuck up. Wife, shut the fuck up. Now you don't gotta be disrespectful. I'm being entertaining. But the ideal woman is a woman who accepts herself. Like, I'm not bringing no bullshit to my husband. Every little bullshit feeling I have, I'm gonna deal with it myself. I'm gonna be a grown up woman, deal with it myself, so I don't fuck up the energy of the house. He don't even gotta check me about it. I'm gonna check my damn self about it. That's a rare woman. A rare woman. But when you give, like I said, if you give women's bullshit an inch, they're gonna take a mile and bring down the house with it. So what women need to do is shut the fuck up for the most part. That's the solution to all this gender war shit and why men and women aren't sticking together and families aren't sticking together. Take power from women and make women shut the fuck up and do their job. Now that sounds a little more extreme than I actually would be in the practical day-to-day life, but that's the gist of it.
need to meet there. We need to meet at the crossroads of what makes us different, because for the woman, it is the little things. For the man, it's the big picture. I'm coming home to you. I'm not cheating on you. I'm not beating you. I'm not lying to you. And for some reason, you are not happy. Okay. Now, remember, gentlemen, it is never your job to make her happy. It's never your job to make her happy. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, just like I want women to learn about male nature, and that's what I teach them about male nature, about kind of how men work, and to help understand them and empathize and be compassionate towards them, but mainly just to understand them. I also want men to do the same if you're interested in a relationship or if you're married.
Okay, I agree with that. I mean, she said something. Yeah. She said something I agree with. It's not a man's job to make a woman happy. I'm glad she said that. We in agreement on that. And I do agree that men should try to understand female nature as much as possible. And I think women should learn male nature as much as possible. I think we should understand each other. That will help in the journey of living and working together to build legacies and families. I agree with that. Now let's see where she goes with this big picture though.
I also want men to do the same if you're interested in a relationship or if you're married. It would behoove you to come to couples therapy, especially with someone like me who's going to educate you on gender dynamic. Because a lot of men don't understand that for a woman, it's the little things. It's the small little things. It's the eye contact. It's the non-sexual touch or hug. It's the little things that you do to make her life easier. It's leading. It's making decisions, things that you do to help her to feel safe emotionally. It's the little things. It isn't the big picture, but we get lost in that. And especially on
No, 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 no. We need to get lost in the big picture, Anita. We don't need to get lost in the little things that'll ruin the big picture. That's why women shouldn't run shit, including you. And you're one of the more logical, reasonable women I've talked to, or not talked to, but you know what I mean. Listen to. No, we need to get lost in the bigger picture. Fuck if she feel loved that day. She still got a motherfucking job to do, even if I didn't make her feel loved. And that's what men need understand, and that's what women need to start fucking understanding. The dishes still need washed, the house still need cleaned, the baby still need burped, even if you don't feel loved. There's gonna be days out of this 50 years where you don't feel love. Shit is a joke.
it isn't the big picture, but we get lost in that. And especially online, because like I said, men now have a voice, a very big voice.
We should. We've literally built society. We should have the biggest voice, and you're a big advocate for men leading. So I don't know why you said that like you were annoyed with it. Men have a voice, a big voice. I mean, why did that bother you? You're traditional and you believe men should lead. So if men should lead, then they should be the ones with the biggest voice in society. Make it make sense, hon. Make it make sense. Anyway, I got a story to tell y'all about Cunty B. I got a little bit of update on Cunty B. A very interesting update. A very interesting update. But let's continue.
Big picture, but we get lost in that. And especially online, because like I said, men now have a voice, a very big voice, and they're speaking from their side of the fence. They're speaking from their perspective. I don't have an issue with that. However, just like how women have done you all for years, where they're just kind of talking at you, I see that coming back. And, one would say, okay, well, that's how they did us, so now we're doing them that way. But again, two wrongs.
Okay, two wrongs don't make a right. Let's okay, we get it. Women were wagging their finger at us and talking at men for decades, and now men are wagging their finger at women and talking at women, and two wrongs don't make a right. Okay. No, one party is right and one party is wrong, Anita. So it's not about men coming to the table to get a better understanding of women. I mean, that's what the red pill is. That's what my channel is, helping men understand women. But that's not the problem we're having in society with men and women. Women need to get back in their fucking place. Point blank, period. We don't need to sit at a negotiating table. It's not really anything to negotiate. Stop fucking dudes that aren't your husband. And then once he become your husband, play your fucking role as a wife. Problem solved. And yes, the man should play his role as the husband. And he should also not just throw around free dick. I mean, we know the solutions to these problems. We don't need to sit at the table and understand each other better. Like, this shit is not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. Women, look, cause see, it's like negotiating with negotiating with errorist. Look, women are never going to be content and satisfied. They're always going to want more. If you give them an inch, they're going to want a mile. If you give them the moon, they're going to want the stars. So that's not something you sit at the table and negotiate. You can't negotiate with somebody who's never pleased and who's always going to find a reason to be discontent or unhappy. You understand? So it's just like, no, we'll take care of you. We'll protect, we'll provide, and we'll even care about your feelings within reason. But we need you to play your fucking part and be content with a regular life of just getting provided for, and we'll protect you and we'll have kids and learn how to be content with that. let's yeah, it worked for tens of thousands of years, Anita. So we don't need to renegotiate shit. I mean, okay, fine. Men will start doing a couple of more dishes, but that about it. Other than that, women are the problem in the dating market today, not the men. So when one person is I'm not saying men are perfect, but when one person is the major problem, then we all need to get on the same page to get these motherfuckers back on track. But let's hear what she got to say. Let's get the donations up. Cash App, PayPal at the top of the chat and in the description, or super chat, super sticker, dollar symbol on the right of the chat box.
You know, one would say, okay, well, that's how they did us, so now we're doing them that way. But again, two wrongs don't make a right, right? Going about it that way isn't productive. It wasn't productive when women were doing it. And I've taught gender, I've taught gender education. I've taught women about men. I've taught them about studying them, understanding them. You don't have to agree with everything they do, but understand them. Understand why they do it or what they do. I've been talking that for years. That maybe if you actually, and you know, my analogy is the exotic animal, right? If you want to own an exotic animal, you have to learn everything there is to know about that animal. You have to know its habitat. You have to know what it eats. You have to know when it sleeps. You have to know everything. How to care for it, how to keep it healthy. And a man is no different. So I often tell women, there's a book, and this just popped into my head. So there's a book written by Laura I'm going to say her name wrong, Laura Schlesinger. It's called The Care and Keeping of Husbands. That's what it reminds me of. So she is older than me. She's been teaching women the same thing. Laura Schlesinger, she's been teaching women the same thing. Why don't you try to understand men? Why don't you actually learn about men and learn about their nature and understand them? So she's been teaching that since the 70s, way longer than me. What's the other author's name? The Surrendered Wife, Laura Doyle, saying, why don't you try to learn about men? Why don't you understand men and learn about them and ask questions? Stop making a bunch of assumptions. Stop thinking a man is a woman and actually understand them. Understand how they tick, understand what makes them feel fulfilled, what makes them feel seen and heard, and all of the things. That is your superpower as a woman. You have the power of influence over your man. So, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, today's younger generation is inherently selfish. They are inherently, you know, narcissistic, meaning very, you know, it's all about me. It's all about making me happy. It's all about giving me what I want. You know, that's just the last 20 years. Today's generation is not my generation or the generations before, where it was about service. It was about serving our spouse, serving our children, serving in church, serving in community. We were big on that. Think about it. Civil rights, you know, think about that. My mom's generation, it was all about community. It was all about service. It wasn't just about us. It was about making this world a better place for everyone. But we have lost the plot on both sides. We don't care about other people. We don't care about community. We don't care about how our actions affect others. That's why I'm always slut shaming. Because I'm letting these women know that you out here racking up bodies and having all this promiscuous sex, it makes all of us look bad. But you don't care about that. You just doing what you do, and you gonna get old too, just like all of us. I keep reminding these young girls, calling me, I don't mind being called auntie, but they calling me grandma. They calling me, what was the other name I got called?
Yeah, I wonder, do she block them? Because she was threatening to block men if they mentioned how women divorce, you know, men for stupid reasons or whatever. I wonder, do she divorce all these young girls, calling their grandma and shit? um, shout out to Seventh. Um, So let's let her cook a little longer. I don't know if we're gonna finish this video. I'm only 10 minutes in out of 26 minutes. I don't think we're going through the whole video. But got a story to tell y'all. But let's let her cook a little more.
I'll be that all day. I'm not a grandmother, but I will be that all day because, baby, you're going to be right behind me. You're going to be right behind me. It's a hoot. It's a hoot when I get called old and grandma and, you don't know what you talking about. And okay, baby, give it 20 years. And God willing, you're going to be right where I'm at. So I don't feel a way about that. You're not going to escape aging. You're not going to escape getting old. You too will be old one day. So you're not making me feel a way about that cut. Okay? Because God willing, it's either that or you're going to be on the other side of the dirt. Okay? KOS 1042, let them call you what they want. They're going to be real sorry. Yeah, they're going to be sorrier than me. Because I've already had a husband. I already got 3 grown kids. You're going to be sorrier than me. So yeah, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them that they're not willing to listen to someone who's already lived, to listen to someone who's already been in their shoes. I feel sorry for them. But we ain't going to save them all. I told y'all that last year. I have come to terms with that. I have made peace with that most of these people out here, we're not going to save. We're not going to save. They're going to go down with the ship. And it just is what it is. But anyway, so there are reasons, gentlemen, why a good woman will leave. And it's not boredom. It's not, oh, she just woke up one day and felt like leaving. That's not it. A lot of it is like not watering the beautiful flower that you have, right? A lot of it's neglect.
Anita Applebum. Who do you think neglect their spouse more in relationships, men or women? Who do you think abuse the opposite more, men or women? Women verbally abuse their boyfriends and husbands way more than husbands and boyfriends verbally abuse wives and girlfriends. I'm positive about that. More men get verbally beat up by their girl than men physically beat up their women. I'm positive about that shit. So we're neglecting our wives, and that's why she left. Let's let her cook. Let's see how men are neglecting their good women, and that's why they leave.
It is like not watering the beautiful flower that you have, right? A lot of it's neglect. A lot of women leave because of neglect. A lot of women leave because they don't feel real partnership from you in the sense of now that women are working, and for a lot of y'all, you need her paycheck. So let's go there. Y'all love to talk about, oh, I want her to do all this stuff around the house and be feminine and all of that, but you need her paycheck.
This is a myth that you have all these men who need their woman's paycheck, but he also wanted to do 100% of the housework and never complain. I think that's a myth. I think that's a fucking myth. I mean, y'all can let me know what y'all think. That the man and the woman is working 40 hours a week and the man refuses to do anything around the house. Like, completely refuses to do anything around the house, and that's why she's leaving her husband. So she can go, what, pay all the bills by herself and still go clean up and cook for herself? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But go ahead. Go ahead, Anita. Go ahead.
Let's go there. Y'all love to talk about, oh, I want her to do all this stuff around the house and be feminine and all of that, but you need her paycheck. And you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. If you need her paycheck to maintain the household, then guess what? Both of y'all, so if you have a house and some pets and some kids and for two full-time jobs, it's like you have two full-time jobs and each of you have one part-time job. So when you clock out of your full-time job, you come home to your part-time job. That's what y'all are on. I didn't do that because I don't want no parts of that. Like, I see what's happening today, and I'm just like, oh God, thank you so much. Thank you so much that was not my story. I cannot even imagine y'all doing what you're doing. I can't. It's a horrible, horrible thing.
Just let her continue.
To have to work outside of the home all day and then come home, and I can't even imagine it. Charlito Brown 45 says calling you names isn't going to make their lot in life better. No, it really isn't. So like I said, I feel sorry for them. But just understand that, most women have to work, and that's according to the men, that y'all need their paycheck, that, oh, we can't afford to be, providers. We can't afford to be primary providers of the home financially. Okay, well, then she has to work. And that means you have to pitch in at home. You have to do things with the kids. You all have to split that home life. You have to split that.
Let's be real. Most men are totally fine with that. But let's be honest. Women don't want to marry those type of guys who make it clear that they're totally fine splitting household duties. They like the bad boy, they like the asshole, they like the jerk who's gonna be abusive and say, "Yeah, bitch, go work, and I ain't gonna help you with shit at home." Those are the men that women are attracted to. There's plenty of fucking men who would, if they could have a woman in a family, plenty of men who would do all the housework just for the chance to have a family. But women don't want those men. Can you dive in on that, Anita? She ain't gonna dive in on that.
To split that home life. You have to split that. And for the men that don't want to do that, like, that's really problematic. The woman is like, yeah, I have two full-time jobs. And I'm expected to, drop it like it's hot in the bedroom. I'm expected to be a porn star in the bedroom. I'm expected.
That's nonsense too. Complete nonsense. I think most men. I mean, I don't think it should be considered a part of your. I don't think it should be considered a job to make love to your own husband. I don't think that should be considered as part of the workload or part of the burden. Think about how sick that sounds. And the other day, she was just talking about how she's gonna give her husband enthusiastic sex, and it's not gonna ever slow down. But you could just tell by her tone and this that would not be true. What? Having sex with your husband shouldn't be put in the list of burdens of marriage. I don't think most men are expecting their wives to be porn stars. Just give them some pussy consistently. I think most men are satisfied with just that. This is that over exaggeration bullshit to try to justify why women file 70% of divorces. Fucking hogwash. So women file 70% of divorces because men won't help with the dishes. Get the fuck out of here. Even if he don't help with the dishes, where in the vows does it say until death do us part unless he don't help with enough with the dishes? Let me start over. And where does it say in the vows till death do you part or until he don't help enough with the dishes? Where does it say that, Anita? Till death do us part or until you got to work and help him with the bills? The fuck out of here.
And I'm expected to, drop it like it's hot in the bedroom. I'm expected to be a porn star in the bedroom. I'm expected to, be Susie Homemaker and all feminine. That's not going to happen, gentlemen. You have to decide. You have to pick.
So yeah, yeah. So Anita is saying you have to pay for women's femininity. So Anita's saying here, women are prostitutes. If you can't afford to let me stay at home and bask in my femininity, I'm gonna act like a masculine cunt. So then you are a masculine cunt. A man shouldn't have to pay for you to be a feminine woman because you don't have to pay for me to be a masculine man. It's just who I am. It's bullshit. Conditional femininity, Anita. Fuck you. And this is the same woman who says she's gonna be so feminine and nurturing and conservative if she gets a husband. Fuck out of here.
Susie Homemaker and all feminine. That's not going to happen, gentlemen. You have to decide. You have to pick your hard. Okay. So that's the reason why I see a lot of women leave is they're just exhausted. They're like, I'm not really getting any help. Anger issues. That's another reason why a woman leaves. I have a lot of women right now who are separated from their husband because the husband has anger issues.
And you don't think women have anger issues, Anita? And you don't think women have anger issues? Pretty much every woman I've ever known, I've seen have somewhat of a temper. You don't think women spaz out when they're on their emotional roller coaster, or when they're on their period, or even when they're not on their period? When anything just irked their emotions, they spaz the fuck out. So let's not play that game. I know men have tempers too, but let's not act like women don't have just as bad of a temper, if not worse at times. Women lose their cool about unnecessary shit, I think, on average, more than the average man with a temper. That's just me. I could be wrong.
Separated from their husband because the husband has anger issues. He's not technically punching them. He's not technically physically assaulting them, but he's making it so that the home doesn't feel safe. He's making it so that her nervous system can never regulate itself.
Which one is it? Is the home not safe, or is he not physically harming her? Which one is it, Anita? He's not beating her, but the home ain't safe. Shut the fuck up.
Never regulate itself. It's like walking on eggshells. She never knows when he's going to scream or yell or punch a wall or throw something. He has anger issues. He has anger issues, and I get it. I can't live in that environment. I will not live in an angry, abusive, aggressive environment.
Most women create an angry, abusive, emotionally abusive environment for men where they don't want to come home after work. Can you dive in on that, Anita? Most women don't give their man a peaceful, safe place to land mentally when they come home from a hard days of work. It's an anger-filled, drama-filled environment. That's way more prevalent than men not creating safe environments for their home. This is such a bullshit video. There are more wives in America that create toxic, angry, emotionally volatile households than men do in America. I bet everything I own on that. If we did a peer-reviewed study, I bet everything I own. Oh yeah, yeah. Compassionate. He says, notice their diagnosis is always intangible and hard to define exactly. Hard to define exactly. Oh yeah, they love that gray area. Women love operating in a gray area because you never really have to define it and put anything in concrete. So you can always manipulate in that gray zone. You know, you can't manipulate 4 plus 4 is 8.
You know, he has anger issues. He has anger issues, and I get it. I can't live in that environment. I will not live in an angry, abusive, aggressive environment. And he refuses to come to therapy. So it's like, okay. Anger issues is one. This is another one. I have 2 women right now who are separated from their husband because of poor money management, poor financial decisions, poor money management. When I tell you,
a good portion of these women, a good portion of these women that she's referencing that she works with, they're already fucking another guy. When a woman is really into you and head over heels in love with you, she's not gonna leave you because you have poor money management. They don't leave pimps when pimps are beating their ass every night because they're genuinely in love with them and into them. I've heard, man, women will stay with a motherfucker in jail. This motherfucker don't get out for 15 years. But she gonna leave a motherfucker she really into because he got poor money management. Get the fuck out of here. They're already fucking, all these women are already fucking other guys and they're looking for an excuse to get out of there. They just go to therapy so they can say they fought for their marriage, but they're already fucking another dude. Women will stay with men who tried to kill them when they actually into them. So you think poor money management is gonna make a bitch leave? Stop it.
poor financial decisions, poor money management. When I tell y'all, poor money management. The men they go out and make money, and look, they don't even make that much money. And they don't contribute to the household like they should, or they blow their money on something, or they get caught up in these schemes and just.
Anita, I got a question. Quick question. How did they end up with these horrible men? Maybe they're not so great if they ended up with such horrible men. I'm sure they had other options. Why did they pick him if he's so terrible? She's not gonna dive in on that. How did they end up married to these men? Not dating them for a few months until they found out who he was. Married to him for years. Never mind.
That much money. And they don't contribute to the household like they should, or they blow their money on something, or they get caught up in these schemes and just horrible money management. So the woman is kind of forced into the role of primary provider because the man works and he can't pay his bills. He can't contribute to the household. So y'all already know how I feel about that. I will never in this life or the next take care of no man financially. I don't even do that with my son.
I don't know, Anita. You just come across as like really bitchy and masculine. And you claim like, oh no, I'm a sweetheart offline. We don't believe you. Your energy just comes off really condescending and smug and it's just like this funky attitude, the undertone of a funky attitude. Here's my question. All these women that are leaving, what are they leaving to? To go get pumped and dumped by some niggas who don't care about them. I mean, okay, they leave their husband of whatever, 10, 15 years to go get pumped and dumped for a year, and maybe it'll be fun for a year, and then what? To go be miserable, to be crying on TikTok about how the dating market is trash. I don't think the alternative is much better, Anita. They probably should just stay with their husbands.
Ever in this life or the next, take care of no man financially. I don't even do that with my son. So what I look like taking care of a grown adult male that supposedly I'm sleeping with, that will never happen.
So what do we look like? Yeah. So what do we look like taking care of some grown ass woman with working arms and feet? What the fuck we look like? You can make the same argument. I will never take care of no grown ass woman. Never. That bitch can get a job. That bitch can get a job. I will never, ever take care of no grown ass woman. Is you stupid or is you dumb? We can say the same thing, Anita. You grown, you got arms and legs. Go get a job, bitch. But no, she thinks she got a hole between her legs that she deserves to have her life paid for. Fuck out of here.
I don't even do that with my son. So what I look like taking care of a grown adult male that supposedly I'm sleeping with, that will never happen. That just goes against every hypergamous bone in my body. So you got that. I got 2 women separated because of that. Financial issues, poor money management. Okay. And yes, there are some people who are separating. I had a couple last night separated because of the infidelity. And what they thought was, okay, I'm willing to work through this if the affair is over. And then they find out the affair is still going on. So yeah, if you have chronic infidelity, if that person keeps going back, if they keep communicating with the affair partner, you have to go about your business. Because what are we doing? What are we doing? You can't be married to me and be over there with the affair partner. So, and there's a percentage of men that feel like, oh, men should be able to cheat. Just stay single. That's the part.
All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. Oh god, I don't know if I can handle. Fuck, I don't know if I can handle her, y'all. I don't know if I can handle her. Hold on, let me set an alarm on my phone real quick. Okay. Let me tell y'all a hold on. Yeah, let me tell y'all a story about Cunty B. Do anybody remember Cunty B? Mm. Cunty B. Okay, quick recap. A 30-plus-year-old woman I know who probably been getting ran through from 21 to 31. And in my mind, I didn't think she would ever get anybody at that point. But she popped up with a boyfriend. Um, they dated long distance, sorta, for like a year, and then he moved to her to be closer to her and got a new job closer to her, which is, you could say that's the first mistake. The woman should move to the man in most cases. Um, then they've been dating for another year closer together, but now they're about to move in. So this is a man who, got with an over 30-year-old woman. a over 30-year-old modern woman who pretty much fits all the negative traits that I talk about on this channel, being an over 30 modern woman. But he signed up for it. So one episode we was trying to figure out what kind of guy is this to sign up for that deal. A 30 plus party slut, essentially. We were trying to ask ourselves what type of guy would do that. The first thing that comes to our mind is a guy who wasn't exactly swimming in it through his life and just felt lucky to have a halfway decent looking woman returning his calls. But anyway, they're about to move in soon. And it sounds like he's going to pay the majority of the bills and let her just cover utilities and groceries, even though they make comparable money. This is a horrible idea, in my opinion. Men got to stop doing this. He's probably a guy that feels like, well, real men pay the majority of the bills or something. That is just, it's such a scam. And I'm not sure they're going to have little ones. So this is really a bad idea if you think about it in that context. Because as I always say, there's no reason to really even live with a woman if you're not going to start a family with her, especially if she's not splitting bills and you're not really benefiting financially from having her there, only a little bit. It's like, what is the point of this? Just to have a nagging bitch in my ear? Because eventually the honeymoon phase will end. The honeymoon phase will end eventually. So yeah, if you ain't having little ones, you just got some nagging bitch in your house for really no reason. And if she ain't paying significant bills, you're not benefiting that much financially. So what I just don't see the point. Just to have some convenient pussy in the house, I guess, but that ain't worth it in my opinion. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm not paying all the bills or the majority of the bills with a bitch who make the same amount of money as me. Just not. Nah, I'm good. I wish him the best. I mean, I know it don't sound like I do, but I hope it work out.
People be finding it so
Let's see.
Are you exhausted from dating?
And yeah, just that blew me away. I'm like, oh, she got her a provider, huh? Got her a provider. That shit is a scam. The whole provider spiel. Anybody be- I'm gonna play some of this. Maybe I should play something else.
then plans an entire getaway for you for Valentine's months in advance before ensuring that you wake up in a luxurious hotel room to a gorgeous room service breakfast spread with anything you want before taking you on a romantic walk, then coming back to get changed to then go for afternoon tea in said luxurious hotel. And there will also be a man that tells you Valentine's isn't a big deal and he doesn't understand why people celebrate it. There will then be no question about it and he just won't do anything. Choose wisely.
And if that man ain't get you nothing for Valentine's Day, a card, a balloon, a flower, if he coming up with hella excuses, he don't really like you. You been hunching on this dude all year. Valentine's Day come around, he got 1,000 excuses, or he trying to start an argument, or he can't get you shit. You gotta quit fucking with them type of dudes. Let it go, baby.
It's Valentine's Day, and 70% of men are choosing to stay single. And I don't even blame them, and this shouldn't be a shock to anybody. Dating in this generation is so impossible, and I can talk about it for literally days. It feels like every single woman in this generation is either a gold digger or a bop or both. And so, yeah, a lot of men are saying, we choose to be single. We're not going to deal with this anymore. And I get it. I wouldn't either. That sounds awful. I just saw someone say something today about how I would rather be single than settle. And yeah, me too. I get it. That's me too. But it's crazy because you'll see women come online and be like, men are so sad and they're so single and they're so alone, but not me. I'm having a good time, just the men are having a bad time. And it's like, girl, be so serious for 2 minutes. Anyway, so happy Valentine's Day to all the singles out there. We see each other. We're right there.
So this woman was in a restaurant. She's looking around and all she sees other women. Nobody on a date. No man and woman on a date. Just women, as she said, dating each other. So the commentary is that men don't want to be on dates anymore. They don't want to go out with women because it's a waste of time and money. So my question is, do men ever like going on a date? Do men like going on dates? They like going to restaurants and trying different foods and things like that. Is it something that they only did because women like to do it? Like if I'm going to get in a relationship and I say I want to go to a restaurant, am I making him do something that he doesn't want to do?
This year is not going to fucking change.
Right, so it's the 11th of Feb, 4 days before Valentine's Day. He's made no plans, hasn't mentioned us doing anything, hasn't said about buying anything. Let's see if he has. Stuart, come here. Any thought on Valentine's Day?
When is it?
On Saturday. Are we doing anything? Have you brought anything? Am I buying you anything? You going?
Listen,
Don't just walk off.
Every year I tell you, I'm not getting you anything. Valentine's Day is pathetic. Have a child together. We don't.
You're not even getting me a card.
Valentine's Day shit. I'd rather get him stuff for his birthday, or get you something for your birthday.
You don't get me anything for my birthday either.
It's like bonfire night. Wow, let's all go sit in a corner and watch a fire. What the fuck's the point?
So you're not even gonna get me a card?
Valentine's Day.
Not even a card?
No.
Why?
And what day is it? Saturday.
Yeah.
If I'm pretty sure there's curling on.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
There is. It's the alpine skiing.
What? That's more important.
Absolutely.
More important than spending time with me.
Even though they're not actually playing.
More important than spending time with me.
Absolutely.
That's rude. So you're not why you get me no, you're not even a card.
You ain't got me fuck all, so why would I get you fuck all?
Well, how do you know I haven't got you anything?
Listen. We do not do Valentine's Day ever. We've never done it. This year, it's not gonna fucking change.
Right. Okay. That answers my question.
I've seen so many grown people putting on their social media, I don't have a Valentine this year. Baby, yourself. Love yourself. Treat yourself. Bask in yourself. Or what about your kids? You just completely forgot about your children, your babies. What about them? Hello?
I don't know, y'all. The plot is getting lost. We too old.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. And if you're single today, you shouldn't be sad. I'm gonna share some of my favorite stories that remind me not to settle. Hey, there's some scaries there, but sometimes you gotta kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. If you're single today, it means you didn't settle. I was hosting when I was like 16, 17. A man came in with his wife. I sat them, and as they were leaving, he ran back in while she was in the car just to come up to me and tell me that I was hot. I was like 17 at the time, by the way. His wife or girlfriend or whatever was fully sitting in the car. Like, that is so humiliating. I was going on dates with this guy, and it was still like pretty early, and I made his bed as like just like a nice gesture to do, and he told me that making his bed was the bare minimum. I had to like sit there in silence for a second. I went on a date with this guy one time, not really knowing him much at all, just like kind of wanted to take a chance, and he told me mid-date, he was like, this is gonna sound really weird, but I just broke up with my girlfriend this weekend and we would like watch your TikToks all the time. And I was like, I'm interrupting something here. Aren't I? This weekend, at that point, I literally made him, my friends were getting dinner next door. I made him drive me to my friends. I did break up with a guy once because I literally told him I didn't want to be with someone that felt so comfortable like yelling at me and cursing at me, and he told me I would never be able to find someone who didn't yell at me, and if I did, it wasn't real love. They didn't truly love me, which is not true, by the way. If anyone ever tries to tell you, that's false propaganda. He told me that the idea of me finding a guy who doesn't yell at me was just me living in La La Land, which, hey, La La Land is kind of nice over here. There are nice guys out there, I swear. A few years ago, back in like 2021, I had gone to this like very well-known TikToker's house party, and he literally told everyone there that he broke up with his ex-girlfriend because he couldn't stand the fact that she was more successful than him. Which is like, homegirl's performing at the Grammys now, so call it what it is. Anyways, there are worse things to be than single on Valentine's Day. Because if you're single, it means you're not settling.
Story time on when I actually got a man a Valentine's gift so that you don't make this mistake. And this was fairly recent, so listen up. Very short backstory, I dated this absolute jerk-off of a man for 2 years, okay? I decided on Valentine's Day I was going to get him a little gift. I know, okay? My policy is never to get a man a gift, but this man had underwear with freaking holes in it. So I was like, I'm gonna get him some underwear, some nice underwear, and some undershirts, because this man is riding around, I don't know, looking like he's got 4 different color doors. So I decided to invest my own money in his undergarments. But if you know me, I'm an expensive gal, okay? I got expensive taste, so I went and I got him some very nice underwear with 0 holes. When I went to his house and was like, here, look, I got this for you, being very proud of myself because I was like, oh, you're actually doing a good deed here. Do you know the gift he got me? Fuck all. 0. Nothing. Of course I was taking it back because it's Valentine's Day, bitch. We've been dating for 2 years. You got me nothing? Right. But I already had a plan in motion, and if you know me, I don't fuck around when it comes to my plans. Now, that particular Valentine's Day went so horribly, I can't even tell you. That's a story for another day. But I already knew the moment that I left his house, the wheels were turning, all right? The cogs were going. So when I gave him the gift, he said, oh, these are too big. You got me the wrong size. Perfect. Now, this particular man was lazy as hell, okay? So I already knew he wasn't gonna go do the return. So keep that in mind. About a week went by, and I already knew in my mind, I'm breaking up with this man. It's over, okay? You get me nothing for Valentine's Day, you don't get me. So I called him up, a little bring, bring, and said, hey, I'm going to the mall today. Why don't I drop by and get the gifts that I got you, and I'll exchange them, you know, get you the right size. And of course, as I said, this man was lazy as fuck all and was like, yeah, that would be great. Perfect. Grabbed the gifts, returned them, and guess what? I got my fucking money back. And if you've heard this story before, it's because I have told it before. I got a beautiful dress. Actually, it's stunning. I'll show you guys in another video. And I went on a date that night. If he's watching this, which I'm pretty sure that he does, thank you. I still wear it and I love it. All of this to say, don't make my mistakes.
The existing
Welcome to Counterpoint, where we've made it our mission to share conversations that are honest, unscripted, and grounded in real experience. We bring people with different perspectives to the same place for open debate and conversation. I'm your host, Ryan Price. And on today's episode, we have single men and single women. We now present to you Counterpoint. Nice guys finish last. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now.
If you don't agree with this, just be wary of what is all over Netflix, propaganda on social media, etc. I mean, there's a reason why a majority of the women watch like movies like or shows like The Vampire Diaries, and they're obsessed with the bad guy Damon, and then Damon becomes good, and now they're all back on Stefan because he's the bad guy. I mean, it is literally a term that is known and thrown around society today and has been around for years on years. I mean, perfect example is like, I have a couple guys that they're just extremely good gentlemen, treat their, they court their women, they take care of them, and the woman could just throw it right in their face like, yeah, sorry, you're too nice for me, and then they just leave them. So
I feel like he kind of just said all of it, to be real. I mean, I feel like in a couple times in my experience that's happened where I've been nice to a girl, and then like obviously like she passed me up for some dude who was like just trash, and like you chalk it up to the game. But like I've also had friends who have been in the same situation, so I feel like if it hasn't happened to you, you at least know somebody that it's happened to. So I do think it's a real thing.
I'm assuming the question is nice guys as in the guys on social media that whine about, oh, I'm such a good guy, I don't understand why no girl wants me. They do. Some of them. They do finish last, but for good reason. They're usually not the best mates, if you know what I mean. They're obviously whining and crying for a reason. Like from what I see, not statistically, but from an anecdotal perspective, to kind of build up what you were saying, like the female fantasy is that guy who has that capacity for violence, that tameable monster kind of thing. We hear about that, I'm sure, on social media all the time. But I think those guys, they just haven't, either they are not tameable or they definitely just don't have that capacity for it, you know what I mean? They're those guys that like, yeah, oh, you can never hurt a fly. Well, that's not good, because sometimes you have to be strong, you have to be tough. One, life is hard, and two, if she wants to pick a mate, she's gonna wanna pick a guy, like a traditional woman's gonna wanna pick a guy that can defend her and her children that she might have one day. She's not gonna pick some guy who's keyboarding up, complaining about, oh, girls don't like me. It's because I'm 5'11". Well, I'm 5'10", and I can still talk to women. It's not that hard. Just because you're not 6 foot, you know, they're looking for that tough guy that is able to still be a gentleman. So yes, do nice guys finish last?
They're not looking for a gentleman, dude. They're not looking for a gentleman. It's not so much about him being tough or soft. Women don't like to be treated too nice. Regardless, I mean, there's some super tough fucking UFC fighters who are really nice to women, and they do bad with women too. It's not just about knowing how to fight, dude.
The stereotypical kind, yes. Is it good that they finish last? Probably.
Okay.
I would argue too that majority of the time, like, we're not saying that good guys don't always finish last. It's just the simple fact that like that term exists, and a lot of the times, like, what comes to mind for me is like the term simp. Like that's our good guy.
Those are the good guys.
Definition in today's
Nice
society.
guys.
So a lot of the times women look at guys and they're like, I don't want to be like overly pedestalized by this man. You know, I want somebody that's individual and takes care of his needs, and then can also bring me along and then take care of me as well.
And I think that's a great time to hear what the women think. And our women. Quickly, I'm gonna get our last gentleman's comment and then
Good versus weak is what I was more referring to. When somebody says like the good guy finishes last, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the weak men finish last. I think that the people that aren't seen as being able to support her properly or be able to stand in a position.
It's not true. They're getting pumped and dumped by dudes who don't give a fuck about them, never took them out on a date. They're using them for their body and treat them like shit. So this whole thing, oh, they just want a strong man who's going to be a gentleman, or they want a man who can provide. They're dating tall, handsome, muscular dudes who use them for their body and treat them like garbage. So any talk of they want a man to treat them good, or they're picking men who treat them good, no, they're picking men that treat them bad. And we have social media sites filled with women complaining about the fuck boys. They love the fuck boys. These dudes don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
It's like the good guy finishes last. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the weak men finish last. I think that the people that aren't seen as being able to support her properly or be able to stand in a position, a relationship where, you know, she feels protected or comfortable or able to.
If we meet the $15 live stream goal, I'll stay on 2 hours. Nothing has been met.
comment and then
Good versus weak is what I was more referring to. When somebody says like the good guy finishes last, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that the weak men finish last. I think that the people that aren't seen as being able to support her properly or be able to stand in a position, a relationship where, you know, she feels protected or comfortable or able to express herself the way that she wants to. And if you're going to sit there and be this good guy, what people think it's like more as this weak person who can't, you know, provide their end of the relationship is what I typically see. So, because I know a lot of quote unquote good people that are in that finish line of like what I want, and like in marriages, you know, they have kids, they have families, all these things. They're really great people, but they're not weak in the same sense too. So I guess I more so agree, but it's what is your definition of good guy?
yeah, it's in the wording. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, and just whoever would like to start over here.
I think I agree with what you guys said about putting a woman on a pedestal can kind of be a red flag. Past relationships, the nice guys in those, they did put me on a pedestal, and I feel like the lack of ambition for their own personal.
John, this is a woman with a fucking tattoo in the middle of her chest. So take everything she says with a grain of salt. And the woman next to her is a woman with all these tattoos and a fucking bleach blonde wig as a black girl. So, I mean, where are all these bitches' husbands at then? Never mind. This bitch got a demonic tattoo in the front of her chest. Like, I'm not taking much of what she say that serious. Okay. I'm not gonna say that. She could be smart. She could say a lot of shit that makes sense. We're not on a good road for that. Doesn't sound like it so far. But I'm just gonna say I'm very skeptical off top of what she's gonna say.
With what you guys said about putting a woman on a pedestal can kind of be a red flag. Past relationships, the nice guys in those, they did put me on a pedestal, and I feel like the lack of ambition for their own personal goals was a red flag. I'm a very ambitious person. I'm very career focused. I'm the youngest manager in my company and district manager.
Like nobody gives a fuck. It's not to hurt your feelings at all. It's definitely not. Again, I think it's impressive. I'm not getting ready to go throw a party for this hoe. I don't care.
So already she probably won't make a good wife. She's gassed up on fucking career and tattoos. Usually tattoos are a sign of trauma, and usually women who are super tatted up have really high body counts. Shout out to X and Lauren. They just donated $15 between the two of them. Everybody shout them out. We stand on 2 hours.
They did put me on a pedestal, and I feel like the lack of ambition for their own personal goals was a red flag. I'm a very ambitious person. I'm very career focused. I'm the youngest manager in my company and district manager. And so to have someone that settles for bare minimum, to me, that's a red flag. I have a lot of goals and dreams, and for someone that just kind of goes along with those but doesn't have their own, I think is a real turnoff for me. And I think that's what happened with those nice guys.
Okay, I feel like there's so many layers to the term nice guys finish last. For example, you'd mentioned like simp. I've actually never heard any woman around me refer to another man as a simp.
You want him to keep simping. You're not gonna shame a motherfucker for kissing your ass and giving you attention and giving you money. No, of course you're not gonna say it. That don't mean he not that.
I also reject the idea of needing like a super masculine man that's gonna come and save me and be my knight in shining armor. Yes, I'll read romance books where there's a strong man, but is that something that I actually want? No, when I genuinely tend to think of like masculine men or like someone who's overtly extremely masculine, I think domestic violence. So I tend to actually like a
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Yeah, it makes total sense. She's a typical feminist bitch who associate masculinity with violence. Yeah, com- complete idiot. I mean, and we could have guessed that based on just looking at her. Oh gosh.
more of a feminine guy and a nicer guy, but like I tend to actually like a more of a feminine guy and a nicer guy, but like one of the guys here had said earlier, I think a lot of guys say, "Oh, I'm nice. Why don't I have a girlfriend?" If all you have to bring to the table is the fact that you're nice and nothing else outside of that, that's not enough for you to just like have a relationship. Like a
Actually, that is. Just being a nice, decent person is plenty enough to have a relationship. You can't. You're not a nice person. The only reason why people want to be in a relationship with you because you're a girl, not because your personality is great, not because you're nice. The average nice guy who brings nothing else other than being nice, he's way more than you because you're not even that. Oh goodness. They're gonna say anything, but they're not sexually attracted to guys who are too nice to them. They're sexually attracted to masculine assholes. A lot of women are. Women who can't keep a man around. Women who actually are attracted to healthy men Look, they're snatched up before 25 and they stay with them for the most part. It's really that simple. She said she like feminine, soft guys. There's plenty of feminine, soft, nice guys that you could be with. I hope you're not single. There's a world full of feminine, nice guys that you could have been with. So you must have a man then, because that's one of the easiest things to find in the world.
If all you have to bring to the table is the fact that you're nice and nothing else outside of that, that's not enough for you to just like have a relationship. Like I've talked to nice guys. I would hope that my partner would eventually be a nice person, but because you are nice, you are somehow below the guys that are like pieces of shit. I don't believe that. I feel like the women that are attracted to that are attracted to the trauma of it all. And if you understand like how trauma plays in relationships, you'll understand that like if you're a nice guy, look for a nice girl, not a girl that wants to go there with you. And
I'm sure. Look, I'm sure there's no nice girls on this panel. Oh, if you're a nice guy, look for a nice girl. Are you supposed to be a nice girl? Because you said you would want your boyfriend to be nice. Yeah, nice girl with a fucking spike bracelet and all these tattoos and a bleach blonde wig is a black girl. This is mental illness. A black girl with a bleach blonde wig is mentally ill. Fucking period.
nice girl, not a girl that wants to go there with you. And I don't think it's true that nice guys finish last. Again, I think a lot of guys frame themselves as being nice guys.
Listen, women will sit on these panels and yell to the heavens that nice guys don't finish last. Meanwhile, none of these bitches are currently in a relationship with a nice guy. Ain't that a weird coincidence? Nice guys don't finish last. I don't want one though. I'm not with one. I'm not with one though, but they don't finish last. They finish first, but just not with a girl like me.
With you. And I don't think it's true that nice guys finish last. Again, I think a lot of guys frame themselves as being nice guys and then they go, I gave you food, why didn't you have sex with me? It's like it's not really like usually I feel like in most cases it's just nice. There's usually like a devil tail hiding behind somewhere.
But I would argue in the sense of like what you stated, that majority of the men that are quote unquote feminine aren't looking to protect you in any like way, shape or form, in the sense that like, yeah, they might, in your opinion, like you might be traumatized from quote unquote masculine men, but when you're in danger, who's the first person that you call to come save you?
I called my blicky. So and this is funny because I was in a
I call my blicky. Oh my gosh. So of course a feminist. I call my blicky. So now she thinks she's Joanna Wick with the blick. So yeah, you protect yourself. This woman's a fucking idiot. Men don't do anything to protect you. Men could never do anything to protect you. You know, and when danger comes, you go grab the blicky. You sound fucking stupid.
When you're in danger, who's the first person that you call to come save you?
I called my blicky. So and this is funny because I was in a conversation, but I recently had to get a gun. I also, throughout media, we see time and time again, there was a little girl that was recently kidnapped in Arkansas, and she was like 13 years old, and she asked the men, can you help me? Can you help me? She went to 2 different places. None of the men helped her. In most situations, I actually
Now she's about to go on some feminist rant now that has nothing to do with the original question. She's about to just go on and on about men are terrible, men are weak, men are trash. Some story about a girl asking for men to help and they wouldn't help. Yeah, men don't help women. Yeah. I mean, even if this story is true and some girl asked for men for help and they wouldn't help, I mean, we know there's another side to this story. But This is just I don't even know what to say. I'm baffled by the feminist mumbo jumbo. I mean, there's no point in having conversations with women like this. No matter what is said in the conversation, men are bad. So it's not like we're gonna get anywhere. No matter what example is brought up, you're gonna figure out a way to get it back to men are bad. So it's a pointless conversation.
Asked the men, can you help me? Can you help me? She went to 2 different places. None of the men helped her. In most situations, I actually don't feel like men are our protectors. I feel like men are protective over things that they feel like they own. I don't genuinely feel like most men are just like, oh, I'm going to be a knight in shining armor. In fact, in most situations where I've had aggressive men speak to me in aggressive ways, the people that have stood out to me the most have gone like, they've been women for me. Like, I don't feel a sense of protection when men are around.
I mean, I wouldn't want to protect you either. I mean, yeah, I don't blame him. You seem like a complete cunt. I wouldn't want to protect you.
Do you think society promotes that though? Do you think the way that women, not just women, but I guess society in a whole, they discourage men from wanting to step in and protect and do all these other things because you see so many, I guess, downsides for when a guy steps in, the way that he does it or the way that he's protected somebody, society is blaming him for, doing it in an incorrect way or whatever it may be. What also kind of shines a light on that is the times that you do see when people call domestic violence situations, those that guy's a man, he has testosterone, he's probably physically stronger than a lot of those people. That doesn't mean he's a strong man. Like that's a weak dude that's sitting there causing violence and trauma onto certain people. But when you see a lot of society discourage men from being in, I guess, that traditional role of being a protector, that's probably why you see a lot of men not doing that now, is because they are discouraged to do so.
And that's where I get back to my point. That is a weak mindset in my opinion. If you feel like you are a protector, no matter who's saying if society's telling you, oh, you protected wrong.
But now you telling us to protect, but you go grab your blicky. I thought you called your blicky. Why do you want men to protect you? You're a sharpshooter or whatever. Like, you a gangster. You can go get your blicky. So why should men help a woman who say, I don't need to call a man, I grab my blicky? Well, go grab your blicky. Don't look at me to help. You got the blicky. Go get the blicky. Like, women like this shouldn't be given a platform. Like, honestly. Like, nobody needs to hear this dumb shit she's spewing. There's men who don't need a platform either. But, like, this bitch is just talking about a bunch of nothing.
Would it matter if your values were like in the fact that like you wanted to like protect people? I don't think society should have a way of shaming you into not believing in what you believe in. Because if you are able to be like maneuvered by society in a way like that, I don't think that's a deep core value you have. That's like something that people told you were a protector, people told you were a provider, and you built that mindset. And then you had a few women that were like, I don't actually want you to protect me. And now you're oh yeah, I'll just let the women on the subway get stabbed. Like, I don't know. It's just like, if you truly morally like actually felt a way about that, it wouldn't matter who. It wouldn't matter if my mom, it wouldn't matter if God said something. If you truly felt that way, your behavior wouldn't change. If your behavior changes based on societal like circumstances, then I don't think that's like a true traditional like core value.
I'll hop. I get what you're saying, and I do agree, like, in the sense, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, where like, if you think you're a protector, right, and you see something going wrong, like, if that's your value, you should protect them, right? Then on the same side of that coin to what they were saying, like, you see it all the time on social media, the little TikToks and shit, like, a girl drop her purse, drop her wallet, the dude picks it up and he goes to give it to her, she's like, I have a boyfriend. And then it's like, dude, like, what the f-? Like, I'm just trying to help you. So it's like, the media and stuff portrays that a lot. So I'm not saying like, I'm just saying it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people could get caught between that, because it's like, yo, like, I want to help you, but it's like, they've seen so much of the media where it's like, well, if I go to help it, it's going to instantly backfire me. Like that prime example, like trying to give the wallet, I have a boyfriend. It's like, I'm not trying to holler at you. I'm just trying to give you your wallet that you dropped. Like, I could have robbed you, ran off with your cash, but I'm trying to do the right thing.
We can talk about it, but first we need to get their first statements and also kind of bring it back to the prompt itself, right?
I mean, yeah, because if you let a stupid feminist get to ranting, I mean, she's not an intelligent woman. I'm not even trying to like shit on her, but she's clearly like mentally ill. She got some mental and emotional issues. And I mean, she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Feminist theory and like this shit don't got any type of logical base. It's just men are bad. That's what every argument is going to come back to. Men suck. That's their thesis on that. That's their philosophy in life. Men bad, women great. That's not an intelligent person. That just if they simplified everything back to men bad, women great. You can't have an intelligent conversation with a person like that. These people should be intellectually disregarded.
You ran off with your cash, but we're trying to
get to the prompt, and then this will come out from after that, right? So let's get yours and yours, and then it's all you guys.
No, I disagree because I think, you know, like kind of like what you were saying, like there's a difference between good and weak. I want a nice guy. I want a good guy, you know, I want that quality, but they have to be able to, they can't just be so passive, you know, they can't just, it's kind of like the idea of like, oh, they're put on a pedestal, but what are you providing? You know, it's like, great, put me on a pedestal, but let me also put you on a pedestal, match my energy. Like, let's put each other on a pedestal and build each other up. But I think, you know, there's a vast majority of women, myself included, that like, you know, good guys, want to be treated well, but also want like a man that's going to meet their energy. Like, I'm a strong woman. I need someone that's going to match that.
Men don't want strong women. Yeah, men don't want strong women. Look, these women aren't good women romantically, flat out. She seems like she's at least 30, 35. The other girls seem younger, but I don't need to explain why she's not a good dating option. I mean, these are a bunch of trash ass women. These men on the panel are 100 times out of their league. Let's just start there. But these train wreck women on the right or left or wherever the fuck, they have an inbox full. And these probably halfway decent men that we're looking at right now, they're going to struggle to get one date. They got to swipe 1,000 times to get one date. That's just the reality of it.
So I do like femininity in men. I think that's a wonderful quality, but there needs to be a balance. Just like within me, there needs to be a balance of my femininity and masculine qualities as well too. So it's all about balance and matching energy, I think.
As pertaining to the prompt, I feel like it's just a certain level of attraction because like, I feel like this is just me personally. I don't know if they agree with this, but if I see you and I'm personally attracted to you, you could be the shittiest person in the world or you could be the best person in the world. As long as I have that like attraction to you and you don't f it up, then we should be cool.
At least she being honest. She like, I don't give a fuck if you're the worst person in the world or the best person in the world. I'm either attracted to you or I'm not. But she just admitted she don't care if you're the worst person in the world. If I'm attracted to you, and that's honest. She's been the most honest woman yet. You can be a molester, you can be a serial killer. If you tall and handsome enough, I'm rocking. Now that's honest. Now we getting somewhere.
And then I also feel like it's just this certain level of like masculinity. It's the difference between being comfortable in your masculinity and feeling like very toxic in it to where you feel like you have to be this certain person or be this certain thing or women are going to look at you as you're weak or this, that, and the third. Like, honestly, like me personally, I do want a masculine man. I want a man to sit there. I want to be led. As a woman, I feel like my job as a woman is to be led, not to be controlled. But if you telling me I'm doing this for your good, I'm going to at least take a step back and be like, okay, is he doing this for my good? Does he even have the qualities to lead me? Is he even able to be put in that position? So when we talk about all these nice guys, it's like you said, the difference between nice and weak. It's like, are you just doing this as a tactic of control? Or are you doing this because you really want to see me shine? You really want to see me grind?
There's something I want to see what you guys thought of, because based on like my understanding of looking into it, it comes down to like presentable value. So like if he's in a relationship with you and he's like putting you all the time, number one, I love you, beautiful, all this all the time, not really anything about him. They say that would be him projecting that he has no value. Like you have all the value. No offense, I'm not saying you actually, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and men or women, they both walk away from people that provide too much of that validation. And I also read it's because people think that we want love, but what we really want is reward. So like it would hit a lot harder like a slot machine if you lose every time than you win. If you're really good, if that person's terrible to you most of the time or not available most of the time, but then they are, it hits so much harder, and that's
Disagree. I think men want a sweet, soft, feminine woman who treats them great. I don't think that runs men off. It runs women off if a man is treating her too good, but it doesn't run men off when a woman is treating him too good. That's just them trying to keep it egalitarian. That's why these panels are garbage.
but what we really want is reward. So like it would hit a lot harder, like a slot machine. If you lose every time, then you win. You feel really good. If that person's terrible to you most of the time or not available most of the time, but then they are, it hits so much harder. And that's what we're really looking for. At least unhealed and immature people, which is a lot of the population regardless of the age. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with that.
To kind of build off what you just said, sorry. Okay, you just said something really interesting. You said people want a reward. Well, usually reward always comes after challenge. So I think what really people want is they always want a challenge, but not an impossible challenge, but one that they know they can overcome. So I think a good partner does that. They challenge you. They challenge you to get better about your mental and physical health. They challenge you to get better about, building a family. They want you to challenge you about getting better about building wealth, building something together that you can pass on to your kids. So I think that's really what people want. And so like kind of going back to what we were talking about, putting somebody on a pedestal. When you put her on a pedestal, like you said, it doesn't challenge you at all. So that's why you get bored. Like look at people who don't have any challenges in their life, kids that, the trust fund kids that grow up but have everything handed to them. They end up just going through life doing nothing productive.
A woman's body count matters more than a man's. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now. I'm going to start with you.
This is not to disregard the fact that men can be sluts. That's not what I'm trying to say, but honestly, when I think about it, women mature a lot faster. Women really know what they're doing. And I don't mean to shame or anything like that, but I feel like it gets to a point. But personally, I feel like when it comes to like sexual relationships and sexual intimacy, that's supposed to be with somebody that you truly feel intimate with. And I know that not a lot of men feel that way, honestly, and they'll probably lay down with anything. But I feel like as a woman, you know who you want to give your body to and who you don't want to give your body to. So it's like when you're going outside of that comfort zone so much, or you've built this like tolerance to just sex to where it means absolutely nothing to you, it's like that. I don't think that's a good sign. So no, I'm not trying to say that like a woman's value diminishes the more bodies that she has or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like as a woman, you are kind of held to this standard. Like you should hold yourself to a standard is really what I should be saying. Like you should know not everybody needs to see your body. Not everybody needs to be in your body. Not everybody needs to know who you are on a personal and on an intimate level.
Really got her dad. She's probably close to her dad. She's making the most sense. Like, I mean, granted, she's probably still not she's a typical modern woman, tatted up, like kind of dressed like a whore. Like her body count is probably 30, but I like her. She's one of them hoes I would be cool with. Like she could be my friend just because a woman is well, that's a whole different conversation about being my friend. But she might be a chick I would actually have a beer with and just kick it with and talk to. But yeah, she definitely got way more sense than the other women on this panel for sure. She probably got brothers or something. I don't know. Somebody put some logic in her brain.
You should hold yourself to a standard is really what I should be saying. Like you should know not everybody needs to see your body. Not everybody needs to be in your body. Not everybody needs to know who you are on a personal and on an intimate level, because as a woman, that's supposed to be reserved for your man. You feel me? So maybe if all your sexual relationships have been inside of intimate, real relationships, yes. But when you just out and about and just and ducking, I can't support that. I guess that's my opinion on it.
Okay. And is there one of you gentlemen that's ready to just get it going?
Yeah, I'll get it going. I feel like a key that opens a lot of locks is a master key, and a lock that opens for any keys is a lock. So, do what you want with that.
So I'll chime off of that just because it's really simply put. There's a lot of things that you could talk about in this conversation, but women control the sexual market. They control the dating scene. So if you are in control of that situation or that scene, if you're allowing yourself to have a multitude of men come into your life, have sex with you, and then they leave you, yeah, that's a red flag for a man who's looking for a woman with a lower body count. Now, with that being said, to add on top of that, statistically speaking, women who sleep with men, like 5 men or more, are more likely to divorce in their first marriage. It's like almost, I think, up to 80%.
Where's that stat from?
Oh, well, we can pull it up after. That's fine.
Okay, I got
There's
you.
a
I'm
multitude
like,
of different statistics that back that up. But yeah, I mean, end of the story, like a key that opens up a.
See, she got triggered. You see, she instantly got triggered. We know her body count above 5. That's why she got triggered. If she had a body count of 2, she wouldn't have said nothing. I assure you. Hit dogs holler. But it is what it is, man.
A bunch of locks, like they present a ton of value. So, and I would like to refute off of what you said. You said that men can be slaves, and I would disagree with that. I would say men are the makers, because at the end of the day, a man has a ton of value. He's going to be able to be with a ton of women, right? But they're presenting themselves to him. Because at the end of the day, like in today's dating market, sexual market, women control it. So if men have that value and they're having sex with a lot of women, yeah, their body count isn't going to matter necessarily, to other men, but a lot of men in that way would look up to them and be like, dang, he gets a lot of women, so he has value. And then the same thing with women. They're going to look at him and be like, dang, a lot of women want him. So what does he present that allows him to obtain this many women? So yes, in that regard.
I think I might have to just disagree with that just for a second. And I know I moved up here, so I know that I agree with the prompt, but I just have to disagree with that in a sense, because if I get with a man and I ask him, like, mind you, body count does not necessarily mean too much to me, but it means a little bit, you feel me? So it's like, if I get with a man and I'm like, what's your body count? And he's like, 25. I'm like, dang, it's only 4 seasons in a year. You only 25 years old yourself. So it just makes me think, like, what situations could you have possibly put yourself into that you would have gave yourself up that much? Because I do think that a man's body count matters. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, but I'm saying, like.
I mean, I agree. Hey, I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think T Orlando unfollowed me, unsubscribed? I'm curious. Do y'all think T Orlando is done with this damn channel? Somebody who doesn't watch anymore, who, I mean, maybe they just got tired of the content, and I ain't mad at that either. John. Y'all remember John? Shout out to John, wherever you are. I don't know if you just got tired of the channel, which is understandable. But yeah, I'm curious if we'll ever see T.O. again. I wonder, did that race conversation piss him off too much? Hey, what you doing?
At the same way that I'm supposed to value myself.
Yeah, I don't think dudes should just be going around willy-nilly having bedroom fun with every woman he can. It just kind of shows you don't value yourself either. You don't value your body, bro. If you just out here, having bedroom fun with any woman who will have you, who will take you in.
And who I give my body to as a man, that doesn't mean that you don't supposed to value yourself as well.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. I think a majority of men do try to conserve their body count to be low, but a lot of people don't. And today,
I don't think we've seen John in months. But I mean, yeah, maybe he's just busy. But I'm curious about T.O. though. I mean, he's only been missing like 2 episodes, so we might not have lost him. But if we don't see him in like a month, then we know he probably gone.
society, a lot of times you see people go out to the clubs and enjoy that nightlife, and that's what they do. Now, I'm talking in a general perspective. This isn't a personal perspective. So personally for me, yeah, low body count for myself, but I'm saying in general, most women are going to inherently, it's something to be, wary of, is your body count. Because a lot of men who are conservative, who are religious, they're going to look at you and be like, well, if you got 10 bodies, like, why would I marry you? Like, there's no need to do that. So yeah.
That's what I would speak on, is like when you sit there and you think about a girl's perspective on it and a guy's perspective on it, like a guy's perspective is they do value that somebody hasn't gone out and slept with a bunch of people and, given a lot of that to other people. where a lot of women, and not like specific humans that I want to point out, but I just know generally there's a lot of girls that are out there that say, oh, well, I can sleep with whoever until I'm on this age, and then I'll decide I'm going to settle down. And they don't realize that a lot of men inherently do not value that. They value that they've held themselves to a certain standard, and they don't, just give themselves up. That's not to say that men shouldn't do the same thing, though. Like I also, in the same sense, think that men should also not be just going around sleeping with a ton of different people, and then when they decide, oh, I'm going to settle down now, that, it's not going to matter to that person as well. Like I think in a marriage, both of you should limit that amount of people that you've been with or that you've slept with, because kind of to your point earlier when you said like somebody slept with so many people that they lose that connection to be able to, if you're intimate with somebody, you can't connect with them the same way that it's supposed to be and what God intended it for. So if you're going to sit there and diminish that gift that we've been given, then it's not going to mean something to you. And then back to Nico's point, it's like, well, now because you don't cherish that, or you don't feel the same connection that you should, people are more likely to get divorced because they don't get the connections that sex was intended for.
I think a little more tactful way to put what you're saying is kind of women, like we've also kind of touched on already, is women are the gatekeepers also, like you said. You guys are the gatekeepers of the opportunity to mate. So I think on the surface level, if you're willing to have a high body count and sleep with all these different guys, then obviously your standards for what you are going to be intimate with are a lot lower. That's just how that works. To go on a little bit of a deeper level, and I think more from your guys' perspective, is sex is way riskier for women than it is men, right? Anything that can happen to a woman after a bad sexual encounter can happen to a man, and then some. You know what I mean? Like the big thing being an unwanted pregnancy. Like that's a huge risk for women, right? Yeah, we have a bunch of, we have contraceptives, but still, it still happens. I mean, how many times?
Okay, let's hear the dumb shit the feminists are gonna say. Oh boy.
Bragging about the guys they've slept with, guys be bragging.
You're like, everybody knows about it. If you're out with a guy, there's going to be a post about it. If you're out with a ton of different girls, like you're going to see posts about it.
Exactly.
And everyone's constantly worried about that image that they have. So like, you don't get to just fly under the radar and do all these crazy things anymore as much as you used to.
With all this talk about women, I think it might be valuable to hear what the women think.
I'm glad to hear that when I was standing back there that it got brought up that body count should matter for men too. Because I think it's important that because to me, sex is an energy exchange. So you have to be able to, like, I want to make sure that you have good energy before I give you that part of myself, right? Like, and that we can be reciprocal in that. I wasn't always like that. I suffered a lot of trauma from a young age. So my adolescence was a little risky. So does body count matter? No, because my body count, while it might have been on the higher side because of decisions I made as a teenager, that shouldn't be held to me now, because
It is though. Life isn't fair. I mean, you can make an argument that it's not fair, but life ain't fair. If you had 100 bodies when you were a teenager, that affects who you are still today. It does. Maybe it ain't fair, but like, once again, life isn't fair.
I've done the work, I've healed, I've grown. I no longer do that. So I don't want to judge anybody for decisions that they've made in their past. I don't want to judge anybody. A body count shouldn't matter, because if you're making those decisions now of going out and sleeping around.
See, women just can't keep it real and just say, yeah, I got a bunch of bodies and it'll probably affect who I am for the rest of my life. And I wouldn't blame a man for judging me for having 100 bodies, but hopefully I can find one who won't. People would respect women more if they kept it that real, but most of them don't.
With everybody, then yeah, that matters. But because of maybe something that you did when you were a teenager, and because of whatever reason, trauma, whatever, shouldn't be held against a person now. That shouldn't devalue them, because who I was at 13, 14, 15 years old is not who I am now as, a grown adult. That is where, for me, it's like, does body count really matter in that regard? No, because I'm not going to judge you for where you've been. I want to see you where you are now. So what are you doing now? If you're doing that now, then that's fine. Go live your life. I don't agree with that personally, and I'm not living my life that way. But, I'm not going to judge somebody for what they've done in their past, per se, in terms of the decisions because of whatever reason. Like in my case, trauma and abuse, which then triggered it to become, more.
Actually, don't go for that. I know a lot of people do, but I don't go for the I was abused as a child, so I have to be a whore now. I think that's a scapegoat. I mean, I feel terrible if you got abused as a child, but I don't correlate the two. Because I was abused as a child, I had to be a slut. I don't. Somebody got to show me some more peer reviewed studies on that one.
I'm not going to judge somebody for what they've done in their past per se in terms of the decisions because of whatever reason. Like in my case, trauma and abuse, which then triggered it to become, more of a pattern rather. So we should, not hold people to things that they've done in the past.
I'd like to state I've been celibate for a year.
Right. Like nobody gives a fuck. It's not to hurt your feelings at all. It's definitely not. Again, I think it's impressive. I'm not getting ready to go throw a party for this hoe. I don't care.
Just before I start this, but with the lock and key statement that was made earlier.
You telling us that you've been celibate for a year doesn't negate the 100 bodies you had before this year. So that's not going to make anything you're about to say any more credible because you said I'm celibate. That doesn't mean anything. Now, if you would have said I'm a virgin, by the way, now let me just say what I want to say. That might have had some credibility, but you being celibate for a year after being a maniac sexually for 6 years before that, it doesn't really hold much weight, man. Whoop-de-doo, you haven't had sex in a year. That shows how much a freak you are right there. That's an accomplishment.
Just before I start this, but with the lock and key statement that was made earlier, I think this is a mindset that men hold. To a lot of men, body count does matter, but I think a lot of women are also wanting a lot of the men that are on the market. And personally, like for me, the same group of people that talk about having like post-nut clarity is never somebody I would ever take sexual advice from because I've never experienced that a day in my life. If I had sex with somebody, if I looked at something, I never thought, maybe shouldn't have done that after. Like I was decisive in my choices of giving my body to someone. And the same way we talk about a lock and a key, I personally don't want a lollipop that everyone has put in their mouth. So it's like you can say, it's different for men and women, but an extremely lustful man who has slept with multiple people, I think will continue that lustful behavior. And we've seen this with celebrity relationships. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. I mean, like you can be as good of a wife as you can, and if you have a lustful man by you,
What? What are you talking about?
celebrity relationships. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. I mean, like you can be as good of a wife as you can, and if you have a lustful man by you, he will pick the not choosable woman, the woman that is not marriage material, and he'll still cheat behind your back and go cheat with the one that is easily accessible. So I think like this whole, also, if I lie to you and tell you my body count is something that it's not, you have no way to prove that I'm not like telling the truth. So at the end of the day, I think
No, I'm gonna notice by your bleach blonde wig, and I'm gonna notice with your sun tattoos on your arms, and the way you dress, and the way you act, and the way you talk. Like we don't need- we're gonna find out that you're basically not a good woman based on your actions. We don't need to know your exact body count. Cause honestly, your body count isn't why you're not a good dating option. Who you are as a person is why you're not a good dating option.
So I think like this whole also if I lie to you and tell you my body count is something that it's not, you have no way to prove that I'm not like telling the truth. So at the end of the day, I think it's truly a mental thing. If you're gonna say I want a partner who isn't sexually all over the place, you should hold that same standard for yourself, because to think that you're gonna get into a relationship and all that's gonna be magically gone, I think it's really silly to think that. If you are a lustful creature and you have sex with just about anything just to get your rocks off, in a relationship, you're probably not going to be able to just tone that down. Or
I'm in a relationship and a person asks me their body count, they're not the person for me. I think that's very childish behavior. As long as you're tested.
As a woman with a really high body count, I'm sure. But okay. I mean, yeah, there's no point in asking a woman's body count. I agree, because she's not going to tell you the truth. So what's the point? There'll be plenty of other red flags for you to dismiss her on. I mean, you could just ask her, "Have you ever had a one night stand?" If she say yes, dismissed. Have you ever had a threesome? Dismissed. Have you ever had sex with a guy who wasn't your official boyfriend? Dismissed. To me, that's not wife material. If you're willing to have sex outside of even a committed relationship, let alone like marriage, but you a dude can hit without even being your boyfriend, that's not wife material to me.
We're adults. I don't really care. I'm not saying I'm going out and being with everybody, but I'm very to myself as a person. And if I choose you, I chose you for a reason. But again, with the lustful thing, if you're having sexual encounters with 100 people, it probably shows in other aspects of your life, and not wanting or not having enough in other aspects. And then also the energy exchange. I think giving yourself's body, both men and women, to someone, it definitely plays a part in your mental health. That's why everyone, no matter what gender, should be cautious of what you're getting yourself into. But also women are at risk for higher sexual assault, rape, and I don't think it's anybody's place to tell them how they should heal. Whether that is, again, it's not the most unhealed version, but sleeping with people to get their power back, there's no room to judge on how someone heals. It might not be.
Healing from trauma is not going to have sex with a bunch of different men. But this is why you shouldn't listen to most women when they talk. Let's not judge her because she had 1,000 bodies, because something she got assaulted one day. So the best way to heal from being assaulted is having 1,000 different guys in your bed.
The right way, but to me, I'm not going to judge anybody for doing that.
in charge how? Like I like.
They're literally muting what the dude said, so I don't know why they're doing that. It's not me.
I feel like men set that system up.
Yeah.
That's a system that's set up by
Quick,
men.
I just want to say the alternative would be it would be unconsensual. Like what he's saying in the literal sense would be you would have to allow him. I just don't want it to get mixed up.
Usually it's the man who presents the question and it's the girl who says yes or no.
Correct.
And if it's the other way around, it's basically, unconsensual, which is not.
Yeah, I only said I just said I don't want it to be confused.
I thought I was hearing that wrong. My bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because I think, and I think to kind of look at it like, do men create it? I doubt it, because in nature, in every other creature, basically, every other species, the female ends up selecting. So I would say that it's a trend, so I think it's a safe assumption that it's the same for humans as well.
I would agree.
So you would agree? Would I'm curious to see your answer. Would you agree that women allow access?
I think yes, but also if a man's asking 100 people, then.
Well, who's to say he's asking? I mean, he could just, it could just be. But the reason why I ask is just because you brought up the STD and the STI, scenario. But like, if women are presenting that they're answering the question to men asking, hey, the man's asking, can I have sex with you? And she's like, yeah, right? She's allowing the access for sex to happen. So majority of the time, it's predominantly women who are having sex more, which is why that STI and the STDs are spreading more, in accordance to your logic.
It's also...
I think there's actually statistics that disprove that, like men actually are usually the carriers of STD, and I wish I had the statistic with me, and if you are like a sexy, hot guy, if you are asking 100 women, you might get 50 of them to say yes. So
I mean, I don't even know if super hot guys got that good of a field goal percentage. Shooting 50% from the field, just asking random women if they'll hook up with me. It don't work like that for even super hot guys. A hot guy can't just walk down the street and ask 100 women to have sex with him and have a 50% success rate.
So, is it necessarily the one woman who told you, yes, I'm okay with that? Is it her somehow fault, or is it the guy that's like putting his dick everywhere?
Well, that's going to be in the portion of accountability, right? You have to take accountability. It takes two to tango.
Yeah.
The man's asking, the woman allows him to do it, yes. But at the end of the day, you are in control of who comes in, which is why it refutes back to, a key that opens up many locks is a master key, but a lock that gets opened by many keys is a shitty lock. Like,
again,
that's the whole
I
point.
never want to put a lollipop in my mouth that you all have just shared.
It doesn't matter what type of catchphrases you come up with. Like, the bottom line is a woman is willing to marry a man who's had sex with 25 different women. And most men, if knowingly, wouldn't want to marry a woman who had bedroom fun with 25, 50 dudes. But there's a bunch of women who would marry Chris Brown, and he's probably had over 1,000 women. I'm sure that's the low ball. He's probably had bedroom fun with 20,000 women, and there's a lot of women who would marry him. Women come to men for protection and provision, not for how many people you had sex with. Men come to women for purity. It's just not the same. It's stupid to try to make a comparison.
It just
Exactly. So in a sense, you would agree with us.
Where you say it takes two to tango. It does take two to tango, and it takes two irresponsible people to get an STD. So it's like, again, even though I have allowed access to someone to come in my body, right? Because I said yes, somehow like it's more meaningful to me. It doesn't make sense to, I feel like, defend somebody. Again, asked 50 women or however many women in the club that they can, and they're just trying to bag some sex for the night. I think if anything, that is way more disgusting and much more questionable.
It doesn't matter how you rationalize it. It just doesn't matter. Just like it doesn't matter how much a man rationalizes to you why you should date a 5'1" guy. I mean, there's probably some good arguments on why you should date a 5'1" guy. He might be a really great guy, but nobody's going to be able to rationalize it in your mind to make you sexually attracted to a man who's 5'1". And nothing you say is going to rationalize it to where most men want to marry women with 50 bodies. It's a waste of breath.
Behavior sexually than someone who goes, oh, I like you, I'm into you, I want to have sex with you. If you have someone who's just giving it out because they just want to get it out, like, I think that's, in my opinion, that's grosser. Like, that's nasty.
What's interesting about this question is we're both gonna, like, both sides are gonna argue whether somebody should or should not value something, but at the end of
Are you fucking serious, ho? like his.
What's interesting about this question is we're both gonna, like, both sides are gonna argue whether somebody should or should not value something. But at the end of the day, I talk to men all the time. You know, I get to see their perspectives. I also obviously talk to women too, and I get to see their perspectives. Like, I know men inherently value that somebody hasn't slept with somebody as much.
I
right?
said that.
It's like that, yeah, they have a lower body count. So whenever we're sitting here thinking about, you know, the master key or, you know, the lock, when we're sitting here looking at those, at the end of the day, the men are going to get to determine what they value the most, and women are going to get to determine what they value the most. And when you jump into a relationship, I think it's important to be transparent about your body count, about those things. And if somebody's asking about those, it's because they value them. And it goes back to one of the first things that I talked about is like, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody and you're good for them, then you're going to share the same morals and values and all those other things. And I know just inherently men value that, and that's going to be something that when they jump into a relationship, they're going to want to talk about that. They're going to want to know that, 35 other guys haven't been in a relationship with this person and slept with them. They're going to want to know that, she is, I guess, more selective with that. She cares more about it, and she's saved that for something that, means more to her. And it goes back to like the number of times that you've slept with somebody diminishes what that relationship can be.
I said that earlier though. I think men have this thing of like wanting to own someone. You do not have access or own someone's past, and you could only hope
But
that
I can sit here and if you have your past and not you specifically, but say somebody says, I've slept with 35 people, I know me personally would be like, I know that I cannot marry you because that is something that is going to bother me.
Hey,
I
sorry,
mean,
I'm
fine.
gonna go on
But
that.
once again, I also have a question.
For me, that's as a guy, like I'll say this, like if I'm like, I mean, I guess because I don't care as much, right? But like I'm saying, like if I find a girl, like we're hanging out, we're cool, clicking, and then she's like, let's say if it goes for a month or two, then I'm like, what's your body count? And like for his example, she says 35, bro, like especially like how in her example, like she said, like if you're a female who did this like in your past, like for me, if we are here now, I was with 35 dudes, but like that shit happened 5-10 years ago, like bro, who cares? Like that, like to me, that has nothing to do with right now. Like you did your shit, like yeah, like
You still learn. Look, okay, let me touch on this real quick. Let me touch on this. He doesn't understand pair bonding. So if pair bonding wasn't a thing, and if women really could have a whole phase and then go be wholesome wives for a lifetime, I would say the same thing. Like if the study's shown that women can have 50 bodies and then get married and be in a happy, wholesome relationship for the rest of her life where she treats her husband like a king, I would agree with him. Like, okay, she had 35 bodies, that's in the past. She a good woman, she treat me good. Like, I get where he's coming from, but he's wrong. He's wrong. Some dudes don't care about their reputation or nothing. They're like, look, she treat me good. I don't give a fuck if she used to be a hoe. She making me happy now. Fuck it. I mean, it's gonna be a big risk that she's gonna be toxic and she's gonna leave you, one or both. So it's a really bad bet. Scientifically speaking, it's a really bad bet. What? Because like, what would make you think you're gonna be lucky number 36 that she's gonna stay with for a lifetime? You think you're so much better than the other 35 guys she was dealing with? Yeah, it's delusional.
But it's like you can't go in the past and like change that shit, right? So it's like to me, if I value as a woman, like you got values that like I can see myself with, that one fact that you was like crashing like with lots of dudes back in the day, like I'm not gonna be like, oh man, like you were a hoe back in the day, I can't do this. Like it's like, man, like she said, people grow, people change. Like I'm trying to look at you and value for what you bring to the table now, right? What you did 10 years ago when you were 16, like. It is what it is, bro. Like,
so after hearing all of this, are you switching sides?
I don't want to say
that's fine.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to say
thing.
I'm switching sides. I'm saying ideally, I would prefer a woman who hasn't been slutty or anything. But at the same time, like, if you have the values I'm looking for, and like, even if you say you was with 100 dudes, I'd be like, kind of like, damn, But it's like, whatever, my turn now. What I'm
Look at white bro face, everybody. He like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? Everybody. He like, this nigga tripping. I guess it's my turn. I mean, yeah, because this is a lot of men feel like this because they're just desperate to be with any woman. Brother in the black shirt probably never even had a girlfriend. So he doesn't know how shitty they are, like in real life. Like once the honeymoon phase is over and you really get to know them, like really who they are, and the hype of just having some pussy kind of go away, and you really see them for what they really are. Like, yeah, he wouldn't be this thirsty and desperate just to have a bitch. See, a dude that say something like that probably never had a girlfriend. He just so desperate for the attention and validation and companionship of a woman, he'll accept anything from a woman. So what she got to do? Set up and killed once. I mean, that was in the past, bro. It's not guaranteed she gonna do that to me, bro. He'll just accept anything to just have a woman sit next to him. And I understand it's human nature. It's human nature to want a companion. But this is the wrong way to go, brother. But you got to learn. He has to get a couple of girlfriends and learn them. Because there's nothing I'm going to be able to say that's going to be able to convince him otherwise. Because he's that desperate just to have a girlfriend. I've been there. I've been there. Grew out of it. He will. He will probably too. If he ever sees behind the curtain a few times.
I'm saying like we go, you know, like,
Jeez. Well, I mean, I think where you're getting at with that is the high body count itself isn't really what matters. I think it's the why. Kind of like what you were saying, like if I was young and making stupid mistakes, young women, like you guys are all kind of at that age right now. I mean, like where guys, especially like guys who are sociopathic, not that most guys are, but like there's a very small like percentage of guys that are very sociopathic that are just gonna use you guys for your body. And they're very prominent in the dating scene, and it's very annoying as a guy who's not that guy, because every girl who gets played by so many of those guys starts to think we're all the same. And so kind of going back to the high body count thing, like the higher your body count is, most likely, yeah, if you've got a body count above like 35 and you're in your 20s, I doubt you've been in at least half of those as a real relationship, for one. But again, it kind of comes back to the why. Why is the body count high? You know, it's to me, it's more of like a little like footnote, like, well, we'll come back to this later. But again, if I don't find that out until like a month in, at that point, I know whether or not you've healed. I know whether or not if you're Christian, if you've repented, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
This whole heal thing. You still are who you are. I mean, being healed is great. If you heal from your trauma and stuff, that's great. But you still are what you are. And honestly, I preach on this channel, even most of the women who get married at 18 and have no trauma in relationships still end up being unbearable by the time they hit 30, 35, 40. So let alone a woman who had all this trauma and stuff. Look, when the looks fade and they get in their bitchy mode of life, it's going to be 10 times worse. That's what these dudes aren't considering. Because a lot of these dudes, they had maybe a girlfriend or two, but they never been in a 5-10 year relationship probably. They have no idea what they would be getting themselves into if they got married or got into a relationship with a woman that for 50 years.
I know that, okay, she's made that change in her life to where she's not going to be a problem. One thing that you kind of notice in a trend is men kind of want a woman that makes them feel special, which I kind of think is why subconsciously the low body count comes in. And then women kind of want a man who's desirable amongst a multitude of women.
Yeah, where does that come from?
I can back that up. It's pretty simple. Like 80%. So if you take 100 men in a room, right, 20 of those men are going to be sleeping with multiple women, right? If you have 100 men, 100 women, right? 20% of those men are going to be sharing that multitude of the 100 women, because 80% of those men can't even get a conversation with you in the first place. Like a lot of men lack just the probability to even communicate with you. And a lot of times, a lot of women will just disregard a man coming up to them if they're the same height as them in heels. Like it's unbelievable.
That goes back to the nice. It goes back to the nice guy.
You two have kind of already answered it, but like you two gentlemen. So I'm curious because like in my example, like you were talking about the why, right? So I would say the vast majority of my body count occurred from a teenage when I was very, very young, you know, up till 16 years old. Then around 16, I started realizing, no, this is not how I want to live my life. But that occurred because I was sexually assaulted at a very young age. We were kind of talking about your way of getting your power back and choosing hypersexuality, choosing to heal, you know, and then trauma that I also experienced at that time, just from other things, caused that.
There's plenty of women who were sexually assaulted and didn't become whores after. If anything, it made them want to get with a genuine nice guy and just live a wholesome life and not have to be seen as an object anymore. So, oh, I got objectified by being sexually assaulted, so let me let all these other men objectify me too. It's I like, once again, I don't go for that excuse. I got sexually assaulted at a young age, so I had to have sex with 1,000 guys. I don't believe it. I think it's a cop out.
For a span of 3 years of my life, you know? So 3 years of my life from 13 to, 16 in that range, you know, I would say I slept with more people in that time than I have in my entire adult life, you know? So it's like, with that, like, if, for example, like, does that still, if the why was justifiable, I guess is my question.
Why would you even want to get with a broken woman to start to build a life with, even if she's healed from being broken? Wha like, so it's basically like Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall and yada yada yada, and you got this taped up project. PlayStation 5, would you buy a refurbished PlayStation 5? I mean, it's healed. I mean, it was broke once, but it's fixed now. So, but if you had the money, because that's what this boils down to. The only dude who's gonna take a broken woman is a man who can't get a woman who was never broken. The only niggas who buy a refurbished PlayStation is a nigga who can't afford a new one. The only niggas who date a single mom is niggas who can't pull bitches who ain't single moms. That's what all this shit really boiled down to. And then a nigga who can't afford a new PlayStation 5 is gonna argue you down about how the refurbished one is just as good. Because he has to, because the nigga can't afford a new one. So the nigga who got to date the single mom is gonna argue you down about why it ain't so bad to date a single mom. Well, of course you're gonna argue that. These are your only options.
If the why was justifiable into, why they had a high body count, and if they have those values, because we're talking about values that, women could bring, I would say, yeah, it's valuable that there's a low body count. I think there's value in that. I can agree with that. But isn't there also value in self-awareness and growth and the ability to like come in and like reflect and choose to be a better person? Like, to me, there's more value in that. So I know you two have already kind of like talked about this, but I'm curious to see what you two would say about that.
Yeah, I think it's subjective, 100%. Because at the end of the day, like for me, yeah, if you come into a relationship and you're like, my body count's 10, I'm not even looking your direction. You are literally like, I'm not even going to reply back to you after that. Just because like, it doesn't matter about the why. It's a perfect thing to talk about between men and women, because this is an equal opportunity, opinion. You have to take accountability for your actions. If I shoot somebody when I was 7 years old and they're not here anymore, and I'm 27 years old, I'm like, hey, I've changed, but you're still gonna look at my past and be like, wow, he still killed somebody, like.
We can still take accountability and change the behavior. That's also,
I had
people should
something
be
I
held to
also
that.
wanted to say. Okay, have y'all experienced post-nut clarity?
Yeah, we're men.
Yeah.
I would say it's real.
Me personally, no, just because like anybody that I'm with I'm in a serious relationship with. So.
Yeah, but I'm talking about even on the hub, Y'all experience
No.
that?
What's that one?
She's talking about.
I know.
It's talking about corn.
Okay, I think I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I think we got 2 hours. Follow me on Rumble if you haven't already. Link below. Check out Dating Dysfunctions is my normal short form content channel. We just went over 1,000 subscribers. I think I can apply for monetization. We'll try it out and see what happens. I'm not hopeful. But I'll catch y'all next time. Remember, how others treat you is their karma. How you treat others is your karma. Be nice to people because God's watching. Remember, I'm a nice guy. I just play asshole on the internet, and I have never done anything remotely wrong my entire life ever. Keep your blood sugar and your blood pressure down to keep the reaper from coming around. Make sure you get your yearly checkup so Satan don't catch up. RB Sensei, out.